Hi, my name is Vincent Tran. Born and raised in the Little Saigon area, grew up in Fountain Valley. I'm currently working in Orange County, also in the Little Saigon area for this organization called Vietnamese, which is like a community organization, nonprofit, working to empower Vietnamese low-income and immigrant communities. Yeah, so like I mentioned, my family, when they first moved to the United States, my grandfather, at least on my mom's side, he eventually brought most of the family here through the humanitarian operations program. My dad, he came here as a boat refugee because he had family in Southern California. He was able to get sponsorship to move to Orange County. I think what's very unique about Little Saigon is it's like a place where someone can live a very authentic Vietnamese life. All these different social services, and they can just speak in Vietnamese, and then also work and just utilize the Vietnamese language. It still kind of somewhat retains that similarity to the past. Me growing up, because my parents, obviously their first language is Vietnamese, their English isn't that advanced. So Little Saigon still feels the same, but who they're servicing now, it's a lot different in terms of generation, and also becoming more of a tourist area where people go for food. So you're seeing a lot more, diverse clientele. Quite a lot. just because for my job, basically I'm the community engagement coordinator. My main role is doing civic engagement work, and then another part of the work is focusing on the Vietnamese history. With Little Saigon, one of the interesting things about it, which I don't think many people cover in terms of its history, up until 1989, there was a big debate on what the area would be named. In 1986, Frank Zhao, so he's the owner of Asian Garden Mall, him and Tony Lum, they actually tried pushing to name the area Asian Town. During that time, my grandpa, actually, him and a group of community leaders formed the Little Saigon Action Committee. They kind of pushed back against the name Asian Town. Actually, in 1989, Westminster finally declared the area as Little Saigon, and then they got Caltrans to erect those Little Saigon next exit freeway signs. That kind of marks the area. So my dad, he served in the South Vietnamese Army. My dad had to go to re-education camp after the war. So I think that identity is very much tied to who he is. So growing up, when there were April 30th events, which is in the Vietnamese community, it's considered Black April, or my dad would take me either to the Vietnam War Memorial at Westminster to attend these different events, be able to hear a lot about people's experiences. Really kind of got me interested in just learning about Vietnamese history in general. So yeah, college was when I was able to learn more about my community, learn more about the history. With my work, I engage in a lot of that. Let's see, housing is a really huge issue. If you go to Bolsa Avenue, this main thoroughfare of the Vietnamese community, people tend to only focus on the businesses, but then actually right next to it, 5 different mobile home parks, and these are generally Vietnamese seniors who are living on Social Security income. The thing about Little Saigon is these people mainly are only able to communicate in Vietnamese Vietnamese. There's like a high percentage of like low-income Vietnamese folks. There's so many like different services that are needed, but sometimes the resources aren't there. When I was a senior in high school, I started getting more like, interested in like, government. And, like my first few years of college, trying to figure out like, how do I get involved in the community. And it wasn't until I went to Northern California for college, and I came back in 2018 that VitRise was created. So initially it was started with our executive director, Tracy Law. I joined in as like an intern, and then got brought in as like full-time staff after. Learn about their identity, learn how to get involved in our community, and our story isn't really like set in stone. We have the agency to make that change, to get involved, to kind of change what people or what our community is like seen as in the future. One of the most important places is the Uniqueness Daily news. They're important, mainly because I see them as like playing one of the major roles, like establishing Little Saigon. The owner, No Pump In, he initially started the newspaper in San Diego. He restarted the newspaper after he moved to Orange County in like February of 1979. So that was when the Third Indochina War started. So people also worried like, oh, there's another conflict happening in Vietnam. Are there family members going to get like drafted? Those are like the main things that were being covered. And then the left side of the newspaper, like a little kind of section saying like, oh, Vietnamese community, like, where are you? Basically saying like California is a place to be. And this is where like the Vietnamese community are coming to. So, like with that newspaper, it's like telling Vietnamese people like, hey, this is where you should go. This is where all the opportunities are. This is where we can like restart our community. Little Saigon that we know today probably wouldn't be in existence without like that newspaper. Starting in Santa Ana, all the businesses wouldn't have like opened there either. So these fun fact is, the VitRise office, like we're really just right across the street from the original location where the Uniqueness Daily News is.